So that was the new. I hope I spelled his name right. That was the new GM. Oh, I'm sorry, president of basketball operations for the Detroit Pistons, Trajan Langdon, former New Orleans Pelicans. I think he was in the same role over there, or I believe he was. I'm sorry, he was their GM. He was the GM over there, so now he's got promoted to president of basketball operations for the Detroit Pistons. He's been here for about 2 to 3 weeks as of now. So far, the only move he's made two moves. He's brought in an assistant president, and he is also negotiated the parting of ways with Troy Weaver. I forgot his name. I hope to just completely forget about Troy, but but after these two moves, Troy Weaver, getting rid of Troy Weaver, and they didn't even really get rid of. I mean, they did get rid of Troy Weaver, but the reports are that they offered him a role in scouting, and he was like, "Nah, man, I'm straight on that," and it's gonna take his talents elsewhere. Troy. There was a lot of hope for Troy when he first came here, but it just didn't work out. But moving on, let me ask you, what does Trajan Langdon need to do to resurrect your Pistons fandom?
Win. No, nah, man. I think I think he has to do something that they will never do, and I think they have to fire Monty Williams. Um, like you said, man. And they be sending it on War Sports as well, man. Burn it down and rebuild it. You know what I'm saying? You've been an advocate for starting over. I think it's tainted, man. I think you should just fire Monty. Uh, I think they need to get rid of trade some of these players off and see what they can get for them. If whether it be get what you can for Caleb, or you know whether it be Ivy and Duran in the package, or whatever you need to do, but change, man. They need to they need to see some changes, and I think the coaching. I didn't watch a ton of games, but the games that I did watch, man, I wasn't happy with the coaching, and I think that he got more into it as the season went along towards the end of the season. But at the beginning, man, it was terrible. I was like, man, I can coach better than that, and I'm not even a basketball guy. So I think that would be my answer, man. You just change, change as much as possible.
Yeah, man, I was thinking I was thinking, you saying that like the way you said that towards the end of the season he just seemed like he got more into it. And I mean, look at this picture right here. Like, I mean, this is Monty, and it's hard to judge a person because you don't know. Different people express themselves differently. I understand that. I was thinking, this had to be over 10 years ago, but I found myself coaching fourth and fifth grade basketball, and it was a lot going on in my life at the time, bro. It was so much, and I had all these questions and no answers. But at the same time, they asked me to coach, and I was the assistant coach, but the head coach, he couldn't make it to the game, so they was like, hey, it's on you. And so I'm like, man, okay, all right, just fake it till you make it. And I remember, I remember we was playing, and there was one kid, man. There was one kid who did not, this kid. I'm like, this kid just don't listen. This kid don't listen. It was just, and honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't like the kid. I didn't like. I didn't like him. But this is crazy how life is, man. Because in that moment, the kid who played point guard He's been watching a lot of NBA. So, he was using that off arm. Every time he bring the ball up court, he's stiff arming my man guarding him. And the ref kept talking to me like, hey man, watch, I don't know, watch number watch 12, tell 12. Watch their arm, gotta watch their arm. And I'm like, man, this kid, I tell him, he just go out there next play, do it over again. He's killing me. So I was like, all right, man, I can't let this kid bring the ball up court. And the only other player I had who could play guard was the one kid I did not like. And I just took a gamble. I went with it, and I put him at point. And when I put him at point, the funniest thing was this kid had like the deer in the headlights look. Like, coach, I ain't never played point. I'm like, yeah, but you kind of our best ball handler outside of our best player. But that's the shooter right there. I can't put him at point. So I put our best player. Our best player was out. So he was our second best player. So yeah, I put him at point. And bro, like, I'm telling you, man, in practice, that kid never listened to me. But that game, everything I said, it felt like I had a controller in my hand. Like, I would tell him where to go with the ball. Boom, he going there with the ball. And I'll never forget one time the ball swung to him. It was, they was moving it. Just ball was swinging. And it came right to this kid. And I was standing like right behind him on the sideline. I'm like, shoot it. And he shot a 3. Oh, my goodness, wet. I was crazy. I broke my watch, but I'll never forget that moment. But the point of that story is, and the big view is crazy because I'm equating elementary basketball to NBA basketball. But the point is, Monty Williams looks like somebody who just got paid $70 million to coach. I think I got paid like, $100 that whole season. So it's like, at some point, man, the money just becomes, bigger than what you're doing. And hopefully it never happens like that. But, at the same time, like I said, Monty has stuff going on in his life. And kind of, to equate it to that story, it would have been nice to see that, you watched him coach and was like, wow, this is his release. This is his escape from the realities that he got going on in his real life. But no, it kind of just seemed like he brought him to the gym and,
right.
and he put him on all the other players. And this whole team was just so bad this year, and it was so many different factors. And Monty, to your point, definitely plays in it. And this the idea that honestly you shouldn't bring back anybody associated, with a 14-win basketball team, just like you shouldn't have brought back I shouldn't say anybody because Calvin Johnson was there, so you kept Calvin Johnson because whatever. But you get my point. Like that team was just so bad. And the one thing I am hearing, and I'm with you, I'm not gonna say I don't believe it, but I'm not gonna say that I do believe it. I'm just kind of right in the middle. Like, I think it is a 50-50 whether or not Tom Gores would eat that contract. If he did do it, it wouldn't surprise me because Tom Gores is a weird owner. And he's made a lot of mistakes as an owner, and what's one more mistake? Like he's already considered one of the worst owners in basketball. So you eat that contract, and it's just gone. Hey, it's Tom Gores doing Tom Gores things. So, I'm with you, man. They got a clean house. Monty should be the next to go. Trading Cade, I like the way that somebody put it. It's one or the other. You got to trade Cade, or which has been my proposal all along, was trade Cade and you got to trust in Ivy. Like you got to trust in Ivy. I don't think Ivy is the greatest player, but he has potential. So you got to ride with that until it doesn't go anywhere. But if you don't want to do that, then yeah, you got to give up guys. You got to keep Cade. You got to bring in, like a Brandon Ingram type. Brandon Ingram played with the New Orleans Pelicans. He's got that Kevin Durant, long, small forward, 6'10", 6'9". He's about 6'9", about 6'9" build, mid range, high percentage shooter. Get to the basket. I love Brandon Ingram. And if the Pistons were to go out and get him, go get Brandon Ingram and pair him with Cade, that would restore my love. Even if they traded Cade, I wouldn't even be like, "Oh, we back." Like, no, because that's you are it's gonna be rough. if they were to pair Brandon Ingram up with Cade, then you are a potential playoff team. But if you trade Cade, then I feel like that's the right thing to do, and that's gonna restart a rebuild, which you could still be interested in that, and you might have something in Duran and Ivy. But yeah, that's all I got.
You said I'm starting to realize what you're saying, and you may have been right all along. When they first, I'm an Ivy guy. You know what I'm saying? And uh, when they first drafted Ivy, you said that it was the wrong pick because Ivy and K don't go together. And from what I've taken away, what I've come to the realization is that K and Ivy are studying each other's growth. More so for Ivy than K, because Cade is still overcoming and he's still the best player on the team. But on the other hand, when Cade was hurt and Ivy was the head of the team, he flourished, and everybody said, "Oh, he can't do nothing but get better from there." But then when Cade came back, he regressed, and I think that in order for Ivy to grow, like if you trade Cade and you give Ivy the team, then I think he'll flourish. I think he'll come into the player that everybody thought he was going to be when they first drafted him. And to your point, I think K will do better, somewhere else, or vice versa, or they trade Ivy and get it. But I think you have to choose because you got two alphas in the room, you got two leaders in the room. I won't say alphas because Ivy is conceded to K, but in order for him to be the top dog, he needs to be the top. He needs to be the leader. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at with it. And back to my original point, I don't think that Monty is the guy to grow. Is the guy to grow the team in general.
I like how you put all that, and I agree with pretty much everything you just said. Me, if I ran for office, man, my platform would be, hey, you need your leaders to believe in you. And I feel like that's all across the board and everything, but I'm a huge advocate for that in sports. And I feel like there are so many players that have a high ceiling, but they just don't ever get put with people that believe in them. And like you said, I agree. If Ivy was expected to be the lead dog, I think he would. I think his game would rise to the occasion. So although I'm not a big Ivy fan, I wasn't really on the train when we drafted him. But I have seen flashes where I could see, okay, yeah, if you gave him the keys, he's not going to drive it off of a cliff. It would be fun to watch him grow in that role. So I agree with you. Oh, also, um, another reason why Troy had to go was Matt Millen. If you want to go back to there, if you recall, Matt Millen was one of the most notorious things he ever did was draft 3 wide receivers in 3 straight drafts in the first round. And Troy Weaver did essentially did the same thing, and that's fireable. That should be a fire. There should be a 3 strikes and you're out unless you draft like offensive lineman. But yeah, he drafted Killian Hayes, and then he had no choice because Killian was a bust to go back and draft Cade Cunningham, and then the rumor was that he did not want Jaden Ivey, but the Kings the Kings were supposed to draft Jaden Ivey, but they turned around and took Keegan Murray, which would have been a much better fit for the Pistons because Keegan Murray is a small forward who is a very efficient, above average, damn near great 3-point shooter already in the league. But the Kings took him, and then Jaden Ivey fell to the Pistons, and everybody was like, "Oh, you gotta take this kid because made up. There's two guards. Everybody has two guards bringing the ball up court, and something else that don't make sense, and all of that." But yeah, so yeah, Trajan Langdon, everybody. We're gonna stay tuned, see what he does. But hey, that was a very good answer. What does he have to do? Gotta win.
Win.
Speaking of